Jeffrey Dahmer, he was the neighbor you'd smile at, the man who seemed harmless. Yet beneath that calm exterior lay a dark, calculating predator. How did he manipulate, charm, and control without anyone suspecting the horror beneath? Jeffrey Dahmer's story isn't just one of horror. It's a chilling reminder of how easily someone can slip through the cracks of society. A man who appeared harmless, even likable, became one of the most infamous serial killers in history. But how did he hide in plain sight for so long? It wasn't just his crimes that made him terrifying. It was his ability to manipulate, to charm, and to control the people around him. In this video, we'll dive into the dark psychology behind manipulation, how people like Dahmer use charm as a weapon, and what that reveals about the human mind. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't look like the monster he would later become known as. In fact, his outward appearance was far from intimidating. He was soft-spoken, polite, and unassuming, traits that seemed harmless, even likable. To anyone on the outside, Dahmer appeared to be a normal man, but that was the key to his power. He wasn't just pretending to be someone else. He was wearing a mask, a carefully crafted disguise that allowed him to hide in plain sight. This is what psychopaths do best. They are masters of manipulation, using charm to weave a web of trust around those they come into contact with. Dahmer's charm wasn't about being overtly charismatic. It was subtle, disarming, and calculated. He knew exactly how to speak to people, how to make them feel comfortable, how to make them believe that he was just another person in a crowded world. What his victims didn't know was that this charm wasn't born out of kindness or empathy. It was a tool, a weapon. Psychopaths like Dahmer have a deep understanding of human behavior. They know what people want to hear, what makes them feel at ease, and what makes them drop their guard. This knowledge allows them to manipulate emotions and create false connections. What's chilling is that to the psychopath, these connections are just a means to an end. The warmth and friendship they feign are nothing more than a performance. They don't actually care about the people they engage with. They only care about what they can get out of them. The mask of charm is effective because it plays into one of the most fundamental aspects of human nature: trust. As social beings, we are hardwired to connect with others, to give them the benefit of the doubt. This makes us vulnerable to those who know how to use that trust to their advantage. For someone like Dahmer, this was a deadly advantage. He used his charm to lure his victims in, to make them feel safe, and to get them to lower their defenses until it was too late. What makes the mask of charm so dangerous is that it can't always be spotted. It's a skill that many psychopaths refine over time, blending in seamlessly with their environment. Dahmer's charm allowed him to slip through the cracks of society, unnoticed, until the mask finally shattered. But by then, the damage had already been done. Imagine sitting in front of someone who is telling you a story. Maybe it's about a tragedy, a time when someone close to them was hurt. You feel a lump in your throat, the emotion of the story tugging at your heart. But as you look at them, there's something unsettling about the way they react. They're not crying, not even showing a hint of sadness. Instead, their expression is flat, almost detached. There's no sorrow, no compassion. They're telling the story like it's just another anecdote, as if it means nothing to them. This is the reality of the psychopath's mind. It's not that they don't understand pain or suffering. It's that they don't feel it the way others do. For most people, empathy comes naturally. When we see someone in distress, we feel their pain, and it drives us to help, to comfort. But for someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, empathy doesn't exist. In fact, it's as if that emotional connection, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is completely absent. The absence of empathy is one of the most defining traits of psychopathy. It's what allows individuals like Dahmer to carry out horrific acts without a second thought, without being overwhelmed by the emotional consequences of their actions. It's why they can harm others, even kill, with no remorse or guilt. To them, the suffering of others is not real, not personal. It's just something that happens, and it's something they can ignore. This emotional detachment doesn't just manifest in moments of violence. It can show up in everyday interactions too. Psychopaths don't feel the same emotional connection in relationships that most people do. They might seem warm, charming even, but it's all a performance, a way to manipulate those around them. They mimic empathy because they know it's what others expect, but they don't truly experience it themselves. For Dharma, this lack of empathy allowed him to disconnect from the horror of his actions. He didn't feel the fear or pain of his victims, not in the way someone with empathy would. He didn't feel their suffering as a moral weight. Instead, he viewed people as objects to be used for his own satisfaction. His ability to distance himself from the emotional consequences of his actions gave him the freedom to continue his crimes, unaffected by guilt or shame. In the absence of empathy, there is a void, a chilling emotional emptiness that can be exploited. And it's that very emptiness that makes psychopathy so dangerous. It creates individuals who can operate without moral boundaries, who can take what they want and never feel the weight of their actions. In a quiet room, someone sits across from you, talking with ease. Their words are smooth, their tone comforting. They laugh when you do, nodding in all the right places, making you feel like you're the center of their world. They make you feel understood, important, even though you've just met. But what you don't know is that this interaction is far from genuine. It's a carefully crafted performance, designed not to build a real connection, but to control you. The psychology of manipulation operates in the shadows, hidden behind the mask of charm. Those who master this art aren't looking for love or friendship. They're looking for influence, for power, and to get it, they know exactly what buttons to push. They understand human nature better than most, recognizing vulnerabilities, desires, and fears. They know how to make someone feel seen, how to appeal to their ego, and how to gain their trust with ease. The goal? To make the other person believe that this relationship is real, when in truth, it's nothing more than a carefully planned strategy. Manipulators excel in reading people. They can sense when someone is insecure or lonely, and they know how to exploit those emotions. They give you what you crave: attention, validation, affection, and then slowly, subtly, they begin to shape your reality. Their words are never random. They're calculated to make you feel safe, to lower your defenses. They're playing a game, but you're not even aware that you're a player in it. One of the most insidious aspects of manipulation is how convincing it is. The manipulator is never overtly aggressive. Instead, they use charm, flattery, and sometimes even guilt to get what they want. They know how to play on emotions, how to make you feel that helping them or doing what they ask is not just your choice, but your duty. They turn the table so skillfully that by the time you realize something is wrong, you're already too entangled in the web they've spun. What makes manipulation especially dangerous is that it's often disguised as care. The manipulator acts as if they are looking out for your best interests, offering help, support, and companionship. But the truth is, their care is merely a facade. The emotions they show are not felt, they're practiced. The manipulator may appear to be your closest ally, but in reality, they are taking advantage of your trust to further their own goals. This hidden manipulation can have lasting effects on its victims. Over time, it erodes their sense of self, making them question their decisions, their beliefs, and sometimes even their reality. The manipulator has created a world where they control the narrative, where they hold the power, and often, by the time their true nature is exposed, the damage is done. Imagine standing in a crowded room, feeling the weight of every gaze on you, your sense of self slipping away as others impose their judgments. It's easy to let the world around you define who you are, to fall victim to the voices that tell you what to think, how to feel, and who you should be. But the truth is, you hold the power to define yourself. The key to breaking free from manipulation and reclaiming your own strength lies in understanding your worth and cultivating inner resilience. Empowering the self begins with self-awareness. It's about recognizing when someone is trying to control your thoughts or emotions and having the clarity to stand firm in your own sense of identity. In a world where manipulation is often subtle, it's important to trust your instincts and listen to that inner voice that tells you when something isn't right. When you start to question your reality, when doubt creeps in, pause and take a step back. Ask yourself, is this truly your thought, or is someone else planting it there? One of the first steps toward empowerment is learning to set boundaries. Boundaries aren't walls that shut people out. They are guidelines that protect your emotional and mental well-being. They define where your responsibility ends and where others begins. Setting clear boundaries in relationships, work, and daily life helps you preserve your energy, focus, and sense of self. It sends a message to others that you value yourself and that you will not allow anyone to cross those lines. The more you practice setting boundaries, the stronger and more confident you become in your own identity. No one has the right to control your thoughts, emotions, or actions. The power lies within you to decide what you will tolerate and what you will not. This means understanding your values, your limits, and your needs, and communicating them with clarity and confidence. When you do, you send a clear message to the world that you will not be manipulated or influenced against your will. Self-empowerment also involves taking responsibility for your own decisions. In a world full of external influences, it can be easy to blame others for the outcomes of your life. But true empowerment comes when you realize that you are the architect of your own fate. Every choice you make, whether it's in how you respond to others or how you navigate challenges, is within your control. The more you embrace this personal responsibility, the less power anyone else has over you. Ultimately, empowering the self means learning to trust yourself, your instincts, your values, and your capacity for growth. It's about reclaiming your personal power and taking ownership of your life, no longer allowing anyone or anything to dictate who you are or who you become. The journey through understanding psychopathy and manipulation reveals something deeply unsettling: how easily we can be deceived by charm, how often those around us wear masks to hide their true intentions. Take Jeffrey Dahmer, for instance. He wasn't the monstrous figure we see in the headlines. He was a quiet, seemingly harmless man who expertly manipulated his way into the lives of his victims. His charm was the key that unlocked their trust, and with that trust, he controlled their fate. But as we've learned, manipulation isn't just about exploiting others. It's about power. Power over someone's mind, emotions, and ultimately, their life. Dahmer's ability to charm and deceive is a chilling reminder that we must remain vigilant to protect ourselves from those who use manipulation to control. Understanding the psychology behind manipulation equips us to recognize the signs early. It empowers us to set boundaries, to trust our instincts, and to stay grounded in our own sense of self. No one should have the power to alter our reality or take advantage of our vulnerabilities. In the end, knowledge is the greatest defense against manipulation. When we understand how it works, we take away its strength. And just like we've seen, no matter how perfect the mask may seem, the truth has a way of coming to light, often when it's too late to undo the damage. Let's take that knowledge with us and protect ourselves, not just from the manipulators, but from the hidden dangers that lurk beneath the surface.